I got this item from Lenovo in the mail today. This here is actually a Chromebook. I, to be honest, never thought I would get a Chromebook. I always looked at them as like, you know, kind of, I guess, pointless for me. But I realized that, you know, I do use a tablet for media consumption quite a bit. And it would be nice to have something like this that I can just quickly pop on a keyboard and use it if need be. You know, it has all the advantages of a Chromebook. It was actually really cheap. You know, surprisingly cheap. I think it was like 260 Canadian or something along those lines, which is quite good for what it is. So, you know, you're looking at like pretty respectable tablet price at that point. And this here is actually basically a tablet slash a Chromebook. So it's the Lenovo Duet. It's a 2-in-1 laptop slash tablet. I would call it more of a tablet, to be honest. It calls it a laptop, actually. It calls it a laptop right there. But I would call it more of a tablet that has a keyboard as part of it, kind of like the you know, the Microsoft Surface tabs and things like that. So it has a better processor than that tablet I was using. There's apparently a person leaf blowing outside my window, and he will probably return many times. Yeah, so it has a MediaTek P60T, which is a moderate upgrade to the tablet that I had generally, and the graphics is one of the things that it's actually better than on that tablet. And this one I think is the 128 gigabyte. You can get smaller. I wouldn't if you're going to use this as, you know, even something remotely close to like a primary laptop or even a backup, even for a tablet, because it's not expandable. A lot of tablets in that Lenovo tablet was expandable. This one is not, so you're stuck with what you got. It does have a nice screen though. It's 1920 by 1200 resolution. It's an IPS screen, obviously. And I believe the nits on this was 400. Yeah. So as expected with Lenovo, they have simple packaging but nice packaging. Kind of just to the point. It shipped quickly, so I'm in Canada. The nice thing is for Canadians, if you're ordering from Lenovo directly, or I guess eBay, I ordered this directly from Lenovo. You don't often pay any type of import taxes or duties or whatever, because Lenovo, a lot of their products are made in USA, and we're part of the North American Free Trade Agreement. So it goes both ways. Americans can get Canadian-made products, and Canadians can get American-made products without paying all those fees, which is really nice. So that's the tablet. Let's have a look. What else is here first? That's probably the keyboard. So that's just the user information, guide, and all that. I'm assuming probably a charger of sorts in here. Uses USB-C, so you can probably just use whatever. This might be, I feel like this was like 10 watts or something like that. Doesn't actually say there. It says 5 volts, 2 amps. Yeah, so it has a headphone dongle. That's a very Apple type thing. So the USB-C port, you just attach it and you get a headphone dongle. So I guess it doesn't have a headphone jack, which is in some ways, I guess, a downgrade for some people, but whatever. It's how we live nowadays. This cable feels pretty good. It's long enough. What is that? 3 feet probably, approximately. Or just shy of a meter. So that's the keyboard. So we'll look at the tablet first. So it's basically the same size as the M10 tablet that I had, that I just sent. Feels almost identical. It's approximately 10-inch screen. I believe it's a 10.1. So, you know, standard kind of larger tablet size. The bezels are a little bit larger on this one than on the M10 tablet, but that's fine. It is what it is. It has one that'll be for the keyboard there. That'll basically just be the latches. USB-C, that's the only like port on this, which can be annoying, you know, if you're using it as a main computer. But you know, you can get these like dongle things for pretty cheap. Again, I think I got this on Amazon QGM. It has like an HDMI port converter, 2 USB Type A, SD, and you can get more robust than this. This one was just cheap and has what I need. So yeah, you can use that. I believe the battery life on this is really good from what I read. I think it was like 8 to 10 hours, somewhere around there, for just like standard use. So, you know, you could plug that in, you don't need to charge all the time. Power, volume up, volume down. Speakers on the top there, which apparently aren't great. but it's a tablet, so whatever, I'm fine with that. We'll get that in a sec. So I guess this is the top cover. Yeah. How does that, I guess it's magnetized? We'll have to figure that out after. This is the bottom. So this one does come with the, what is this called? USI, Universal Pens. That can be used, it's like a new initiative where they can be used on multiple devices. You can buy them separately. This one was included, which increased the value quite a bit for me, because I will actually use it like that. So my partner has a Logitech one for her iPad, and it's basically identical. It actually doesn't have a touchpad on that. This feels really nice, actually. Touchpad feels quite nice. Nice click to it. And this has, the keys are high enough and have enough travel to be fine. I wouldn't have any problem using this. I mean, it's 10 inches. People are going to complain, but it's fine. The pen apparently is quite nice, feels nice. Let's have a look at it. It's got good weight to it. So it is magnetized. That felt quite nice, actually. Whoa. So look at the actual device. You know, it's got this kind of, almost feels like paper, but it's nice. This is metal. This is like a plasticky thing. It's nice. That has a nice feel to it. Pops on really nice. It does add a fair bit of weight though. So, you know, without that, it's quite light. I don't know. Maybe not. I wouldn't even say a pound. Maybe a sub-pound. This here weighs probably almost as much as the tablet. So when you add that on, you're at probably 2 pounds. When you add this on, yeah, I'd say that's, yeah, around 2.5 pounds, I would say. Maybe 2 pounds. Clicks on really nice. It's got strong magnets. That's the one thing I like about Lenovo. Like, people have likes and dislikes about different laptops and devices, but their stuff is just feels good, apparently. Oh, right there. So that actually separates out. It's tight on this side. It's just got like a click to it, and there you go. There, we're basically set up. Did it really come uncharged? Nope, it's charged. So I've never used Chrome OS, not even once. So this is the first time for me. So I guess it's like kind of like a hybrid between, you know, a Windows machine and an Android device. So you do get often like the full version. So this is like full Google Chrome. I guess this just popped up on its own. What is all this stuff? Weird. It already has a bunch of tabs here that I have no idea. But yeah, like you get the full version of a lot of apps. You know, like say for example, you can't run Netflix app or whatever. I mean, you can, but let's say you couldn't. You could go in here and you could run Netflix in the browser, for example. Being able to run a lot of Android apps also on this is really useful for me because, you know, there are a lot of Android stuff that's free. I'm going to end up playing, at least testing, a bunch of emulators here. So I often use tablets for emulation for gaming, for like retro consoles. So I'm going to test that out at some point. You know, I'll install a bunch of stuff from the Play Store and see if those work out the same as they do. So I just loaded up this thing called Google Canvas. One of the things I actually will use this for is, well, actually doing art. I guess this is the thickness here. Opacity? Size? Is that the thickness as in size? Yeah. So whatever. You know, I've seen a couple reviews on just more on the pen in general. I've seen a few on the pen and the HP universal pen as well. Basically, they're talking about you know, like how good is it? And I've seen that there's basically better apps for like way better apps that you can get for this type of thing. So, but yeah, so like that's a thin, and then as you press harder, it does actually get a little bit. It doesn't get darker, but it gets wider. So I guess that's really just a typing program. Let's test the keyboard. What was it? The quick. Was a typo already. Brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. Is that how it goes? The typing experience is fine. The keys are a little bit smaller, not significantly so, but a little bit smaller, and not as like a huge amount of separation. So it will I'm also typing on an angle, but I suspect that, you know, if you use this for a day, you get the hang of it. Some of these buttons here are reduced, but the actual, you know, like alphabet keys here, the QWERTY keys are fine. So I suspect if you typed for a little while, you would get used to it after a while. Yeah, it's fine. Already it's right, fine. Volume buttons in here, which is cool. They seem to work. Mute, volume up, or sorry, volume down, volume up. That'll probably sleep or lock the tab. I'm not going to do that. Brightness. Okay, well, it goes right off basically. That's pretty dark. That's a task switcher, which is cool. Full screen. Seems snappy. It's, I guess, a redo button or an undo. Back, forward. Those won't be for this. It seems snappy enough. No. I mean, from what I've seen, Chromebooks are pretty snappy as it is. You can get, you know, Chromebooks with like Intel processors and more powerful ones, but this is a tablet. This is exactly what I want. I want to be able to, you know, pop this off here and just like scribble with it and use it as a media tablet, and then or media device, and then if I want, you know, take it out of tablet mode, attach the keyboard, I can type something up real quick, and I'll just set up like a sync cloud or something, like OneDrive or something, or whatever Google, whatever their thing is called, Google Drive. Let's go to the Play Store. And I'm not sure if there's like these just give you Android apps, or what's an Android app that I've used. Here, I'm still addicted to this game. So let's test it. And I'm curious, it will say like, is it okay? It's supported right off the bat. I think, oops, Mario Kart Tour. I think a lot of these games have come a long way towards being supported. Chrome OS, I mean, Google's a massive company, and you know, they do what they do. So I suspect it will be, you know, similar to an Android experience. You know, fairly modern Android experience. Not going to be like, you know, 2021 brand new tablet. There's me. Brand new tablet experience, but you know, top of the line type thing. But it's going to be pretty good because, you know, Chrome OS is pretty lightweight from what I read. Bob Ross is always good. It does that snapping thing, I think. Yeah, there we go. It does that snapping thing. How do I make like a new tab? I'll just do this for now. Oh, just right there. So let's do YouTube again. Stay in Chrome. Oh, it wants to open up the YouTube app, that's why, which I'm not going to do. It's my brother's video. Highly recommend, obviously, because he's superior to me in every way, and he's funny. So it's handling that really good. Let's watch his. This is the YouTube app, so it just, I guess I automatically went to the YouTube app. But you can also not run, like I was doing before, you can run in the window. So if you find that the YouTube app, you know, if you don't want to run it that way, or, you know, you don't want to run Netflix in the actual app, you can run it on the browser.
All you have to do is say the name of a TV show or a movie, or quote one of them, and you just sit back and you watch the laughs come in. Here's looking at you, kid. The 90s, man. What a time to be alive.
Sound is fine. It's crisp enough.
Seriously, you tell me.
Let's drop out here. From his video, and let's go to something that's bassy. I mean, these speakers sound fine. The bass is there. I'm not going to pick it up on my phone very well. It's not like a subwoofer, but it's doing totally fine with the bass, the low end. The high end is actually pretty strong, so, you know, it's a little bit tinny or pitchy, but it sounds fine. It's better than the M10 tablet, like leaps and bounds better than the M10 tablet I had. Holy ads, jeez. Lo-fi grow. It's fine. This is the channel, by the way. Sounds good. So let's leave that running. I think it will keep running because this is not like an iPhone or an Android, so technically it should run when I minimize. No. It still wants me to pay for premium or whatever because it's the app. But I suspect if you run it in the browser, this is speculation here. Yeah, so now you can play it in the browser. Let's see if it will continue. There you go. So that, that's overcoming that whole YouTube Premium thing where it wants you to, if you have the app minimized, it'll get out of there because it doesn't want you to stream. It wants you to pay. It's quite loud. So, you can get around that with this type of device. But, you can run in browser or you can run in app. So, which is pretty dope, in my opinion, because you can actually run it normally. One thing I found a little bit odd was the actual scrolling when you're not using the pen, when you're using the touchpad. So the touchpad itself is actually really nice. It's small, obviously, it's a small device, but it feels fine. People would complain about it, I guess, no matter what, but in my opinion, it's nice. However, for me, it seems reversed, so I don't know, going down that way, like, yeah, that is backwards to me. So you can just come in here and go to settings. Let's try that. Reverse scrolling. Yep. So the 2-finger gesture thing works great for me. Now that's how I like it. So I just reverse that and it feels really good. I'm just looking up a nice sketch program here. And it feels good. Like you have lots of control here. It feels really, really nice. So just popping in real quick to look at the storage amount. So it looks like here, this is stock. I've installed that one game. That was like a gigabyte. So it looks like, with the 128 gigs, you're looking at probably around 4 or 5% from stock, which is pretty good, actually. It's not bad. Yeah, that was, 300 megabytes. So basically it's stock. Okay, so now let's test the camera. If you can see that's the setup there. It looks fine. Here's a little funky. Video zooms in a bit, photos fine. The front-facing camera isn't going to be anything special, but it'll be fine for conferencing and things like that. Actually, this looks better than like a generic webcam on a laptop. I don't know how good the sound is, but it looks fine, to be honest. So that's actually really impressive, that webcam, for what you're getting out of it. Let's flip that around. With the I was gonna say with the case on, it's fine. Let's get something with some detail on it. Like a pen here. It's it's nothing special. It's not going to be like a a new flagship iPhone or Android device, but it's fine. It looks responsive enough. It's auto-focusing. You can see things off in the background. It looks pretty good. Yeah, not bad. Better than I expected, to be honest. I didn't expect it to be that good. I expected it to be awful. So yeah, that's actually a nice surprise that the camera is pretty good there. Okay, so here's a quick test of the front-facing camera with light coming in. It looks fine. Yeah, it seems to adjust pretty quickly. Let's see if we get something up close. It definitely prioritizes the face. I don't know if that's like Google AI or if that's just the way that it is, but it's definitely prioritizing your face. You can bring things in and it won't focus as much on them, like macro focus. It seems to focus right in your face. So I guess that's good for things like conferencing. Are you curious why I'm filming you? It's because you're such a pretty boy. We'll just do some quick playback right on here so we can see the difference, and I'll, test the front-facing camera with light coming in. It looks fine. So playback is quick, really, really snappy. So good enough. I have no issues with that at all, actually. So I'll upload it so you can actually see the difference there. It's actually directly in the video. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is actually try out some emulation. There is a couple games that I'm going to try as well, like native Android games, but let's go through some of them. Let's try N64. There's some little like audio sounds there you can hear, but that's probably through emulation rather than the tablet itself. Yeah, so it runs perfect. Nice and smooth. This is not the most optimal. I guess I could set up the keyboard, but you know, you'd probably want to play this with like a gamepad or something. But it looks good. The emulation is smooth. The sound actually is fine here. It's just those menus. Okay, so here we are in some Mario 64. Again, you'd probably want to use a gamepad. Trying to use analog controls on here is just not good. Okay, so I mean, there's no point in continuing. This is working perfect. The sound is near perfect. What I'm doing here. There we go. The sound is near perfect. Really no issue. So that works great. N64. I kind of expected it to run well. Android has been able to run N64 for a long time. Okay, let's try Crisis Core to start. Apparently the ISO is corrupt, but it's not. It's working fine. Yeah. So far it's actually running great. The sound is excellent, and it's loading super quick. I mean, it's loading substantially quicker than running this on a Vita or a PSP actually. Okay, so here we go. Getting a little bit of in-game footage. Should pop over now.
Zach speaking.
Making progress, Zach.
What's going on, NG? Why are we fighting Shinra troops?
You'll see what I mean. Be careful.
So I can cut loose, right?
Use some discretion.
It's showtime. Concentrate. I'm feeling it. Yes.
So load times are great.
Big Badge reporting for duty, sir. Relax. Listen, if plans change, I'll let you know.
Nothing better than skippable intros. This is going to be brutal to control on the screen here like this, but so as you can see, it's flawless. Speed's great. A couple of hitches every now and then, but that's just loading in. Oh, new level assets, but yeah, this is great. Yep, so that's working great. So clearly PSP works flawlessly. Okay, so here's some Dolphin emulator. It didn't run very well on that Lenovo M10 tablet that I had. I mean, Gamecube is pretty challenging for a device like this anyways. And this also may not be the best emulator. Doesn't seem to be doing anything actually. It actually doesn't have the best reviews on the Android store. Oh, there it goes. It doesn't have the best reviews on the Android App Store. So, I mean, there's probably better emulators out. This is kind of what I used to use way back, but we'll give it a try. If it even remotely works on this, there's probably going to be other emulators you can use, but... Alright, so here's some gameplay. The sound is a little bit funny, but not terrible. It's lagging out there, and I wonder if that's loading in assets or if that's going to be continual. There's a bit of slowdown. I mean, it's playable. Okay, so here we are back in some Wind Waker after that brutally long intro. Can't remember how to... There we go. Seems to be running decently. I mean, obviously these open world games are more challenging than something that's 2D or a little bit more primitive, I guess. But if it runs on this, there's a little bit of slowdown. The audio is perfect. This is a little bit of slowdown from time to time, but this is playable. You need a gamepad to make it actually playable, but... Yeah, so as I suspected with a lot of these games, the audio is where you get a little bit of funny business. But the actual game itself is running fine, as you can see. There's a few frame drops here and there, like when it loads in that back area there. Alright, so now we'll just try like an actual native game here. So we'll just try PUBG because I tried it on the other tablet to see how it plays, and I've seen people do this with benchmark videos. So again, I've never played it other than for a few seconds on my tablet, but it seems to be the way to go. Okay, so here we are loading up some PUBG.
We wait to board the plane.
Okay. The extent of me playing this game was playing on that tablet for 2 minutes, so not exactly. Well, this actually is running quite a bit better though than that tablet was. I think you can change all the graphics settings here. So it's already set like, it looks like it's set high here. So frame rate set to high. Let's set the graphics to HDR, see what happens. So I think I'm supposed to aim or something here.
I need consumables.
Okay, so the graphics are set relatively high here. And it's not choppy at all so far. Let's actually go a little bit even higher. Sure, let's put Ultra and Ultra, see what happens. Oh, it didn't like that one. So, I guess that the screen can't handle that. So we'll go HD and we'll go with Ultra here. And let's see how it plays.
Marked a location.
Is that me doing that, or? I don't think so. Yeah, so there's no chop here. So whatever settings those are, basically as high as it lets me go. seems to be fine. The other tablet had some load-in when you were going to a new area. It would pause for a moment. It was fine, but it would have a moment to load in. This one seems to just
Let's go.
be nice and smooth. Oh, am I supposed to get these things? Sure. Somebody's shooting me. How's that?
Marked a location.
Okay, I guess I killed somebody. You knocked out. She dead now? Cool. I killed somebody. Can I get that? Anyways, so yeah, I would actually try to figure out what I'm actually doing here. It looks like the compatibility is perfect on a Chromebook for, you know, a lot of these. Emulation is pretty good overall, I would say. There's obviously devices that are going to do better if they have a dedicated GPU and a more potent CPU, but this runs fine. So there you go. You know, the gaming side of this actually seems to be pretty solid overall. Yeah, actually let's try, because maybe it will load quicker. Let's see how quickly it loads in assets here. Totally fine. I don't see any lag actually whatsoever as it loads anything. Another thing that we can do with the Chromebook to test it out for gaming is, you know, we can do some, I guess I'd call it PC gaming via Dosbox. We can use Dosbox, and we can also use ScummVM. So let's actually use ScummVM first. You know, you can do this on any Android device. I used to do it with my my NVIDIA tablet, but you know, this is having a built-in keyboard that works naturally. Seems to, you know, work just generally quite well. So you know, you can play older DOS games. You can probably play some fairly recent ones too. But let's test this out here. So the sound is good. You know, we're getting the I guess it's the kind of ad lib kind of sound. Keyboard works perfectly. So you know, we're getting a lot of, basically we're just using it right away. ScummVM in general works quite well with devices. It works well on Android devices, but you know, the sound is great, no issues there. It's not having issues recognizing it. And the speed is perfect. You know, I've played this game ad nauseum in my youth and I guess adulthood as well. But yeah, the speed is great. Everything seems to work fine. You know, so really any of these, you know, ScummVM based games, anything that's going to be, you know, Sierra or LucasArts, they're going to work great. So, you know, you have access to hundreds, if not thousands of games in that sense, which is beautiful. And, you know, I've played around with Dosbox, and, you know, you have access to DOS basically. And it seems to automatically mount perfectly fine. I have Dosbox in my basically my downloads, so you know, I have a few downloads there, a few images there in my downloads. Basically I had a video that I tested out, which is the webcam, but yeah, it seems to be working quite well. Oh, another Sierra game. Actually, I forgot this was made by Sierra. There's a little bit of weird sound in the Dosbox, but I mean, there's a lot of settings you can change in Dosbox. So.
You know, we could sure use a little light in here.
Super loud, wow. Great sound though. I don't know how good it comes across on camera, but it sounds great to me. The mouse is not necessarily integrated right now. I have to play around with that, but I know it'll end up working eventually. Oh, you can use touchscreen. So I'll have to figure out if I can get the the trackpad to work, but I'm sure it's usable. But you can use that or you can use this. But actually, a touchscreen is really nice. Actually, yeah, that's the one. Start machine. Yeah, so it works fine. So that's another thing to consider. You don't just have access to Windows games or to Android games. You have access to, let's just close that right out. You have access to basically DOS across the board. You have access to older text-based games, action games. You have access to point-and-click games, and they all run really, really well. So you have access to thousands of games, and it seemed to work perfectly. So you have Android at your disposal. You have a lot of different emulation of consoles. Yeah, and it looks like you have apparently Windows here. What did it say? Volume up, which is weird. I'm not sure what that meant. The mouse works legitimately within this. So apparently we have Windows 98 running on a Chrome OS. So yeah, so everything works there. The trackpad works amazing. Let's check the keyboard. Keyboard works perfect, no issues, didn't change any settings, I just turned it on and it worked. So the mouse works, which is the trackpad in this case. You can use your finger, but I would actually just use the trackpad. And I guess in theory, could we play games on here? I'm not sure. So that was cool, that was just a little curiosity, but yeah, so basically, you're capable of doing emulation, you're capable of doing Android games, you're capable of doing, DOS games and that too. So you have access to quite a bit with this tablet, and everything seems to run really smoothly. I'm very impressed with it, and having that, tablet function is actually really nice, and having the touchscreen, everything is great. But overall, I think this is a pretty killer deal, actually. For Canadian, I think it was sub 300 with taxes in, maybe 260 or so, which is the price of like a pretty budget tablet. It is a tablet. When you pop it out of here, it's quite light, super mobile, nice bright screen, really nice. I took it outside and it works great, looks nice and vivid. The keyboard is fine. It's not the best keyboard in the world, but it's better than really any other mobile keyboard you can get, like Logitech's in those. It's just as good, if not better than those. So absolutely no problem there. Trackpad is great. I'm actually surprised by that. The keyboard is, it's fine. It's nothing special, but the trackpad is really nice, actually. Surprisingly so. So wonderful. The tablet is overall very responsive. I've had no issues. I've had lots of, Google tabs open. When I was gaming and doing some emulation, there were things open as well. So, that's fine. Even though it only has 4 gigs of RAM, that appears to be enough for what I was doing. The speakers are fine. They're nothing special. Not groundbreaking, but they were enough, I would say. Camera also fine. This isn't a flagship phone, and this isn't like a $1,200 iPad. So, you can't expect something like that. But for sub $300 Canadian, taxes in, it's pretty killer, actually. And if you don't get the pen, you can pay $20 or $30 or $40 less, but why not? The pen actually worked really well. I'm pretty surprised at how well this is working. It's very responsive. Finger, you get like a nice coverage area, so you actually have to press with it. You can't just like gently touch the screen like that, like I'm barely touching it. It doesn't respond. You actually need to put a little bit of pressure into it, and at which point it works totally fine. I'm probably going to get a glass screen protector, which I don't suspect will affect the performance of the pen, but if it does, I will update with that. I'm going to order it. It'll probably take a couple days to get here, so I'll do that. and I'll record, set this video up in the meantime, and by that time I will have installed it and see how it works. But yeah, it looks like Android apps have good, really good compatibility overall. No issues there. So, you know, you're basically getting the benefits of an Android tablet. But you get Chrome OS, which is lightweight. You're not getting a lot of bloat and crap in it. There's lots of benefits to Chrome as well. It's not exactly going to replace a Windows machine because, you know, you can't play Windows games on it, but this could easily replace an Android tablet. And if I were getting a Chromebook in general, I would probably get this instead of getting like a dedicated Chromebook laptop, because at that point, if you're getting like an actual laptop, just buy a laptop, buy a Windows machine. They're not expensive. You're going to get better specs. You might pay a little bit more, but you know, it's just better overall. But if you want a tablet, like this is a great buy. I'm actually very happy with this, and it's a pretty substantial upgrade to that Android tablet I had, which was fine. But this is a pretty substantial upgrade in performance and just usability. Like, you know, pen, you get the case here, which protects it. You get a keyboard, trackpad. You get all this kind of stuff. So it's actually really good. So I'm impressed with it. I honestly never thought I would buy a Chromebook. I used to kind of like be like, what is the purpose of these? But once I saw one that was a tablet and, you know, runs Android apps natively, that's basically my answer right there. So yeah, it's great. I actually do recommend it. So anyways, yeah, thanks for watching.